Yesterday, Counter-Strike added Dust 2 into the competitive map pool, which means a lot of us are going to be playing Dust 2 for the first time in CS2. So because of that, I'm going to make this video to show you the must-know smokes before you go into your first matches and pugs into Dust 2. And we're going to go ahead and get started right after a quick word from SkinsMonkey. Today's video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a site where you can trade skins that you already have to get some skins that you might want. That way you can hop into your next game with some fresh new skins. All you have to do is log into the site through Steam, put in the skins that you don't want anymore, grab the skins that you do, and then click trade. Trades happen almost immediately, and any balance that you don't use in the trade will roll over for a trade that you might do in the future. Right now, you can get a free $5 if you were to use code Austin on the site, and if you were to use my code, you would get an additional 5% on top of the 30% deposit bonus. So let's say if you deposit $100, that means you would get $135 if you use my code to deposit. So make sure you guys check out SkinsMonkey, and let's get right back into the video. Now, starting this video out, we're going to show you the most important smoke on the map, in my opinion, and that is the Xbox smoke. Now, for those of you guys that don't know why this smoke is so important, it allows the tees to come out top mid at the beginning of the round, and it also allows them to go up cat, which basically gives them a route to A site. It also lets them get closer to mid without having to worry about the opper that could be posted from CT side of mid, and overall it's just a really good smoke and you should know it. So let me show you a few ways to throw it. Now the first way is out of spawn. Of course, you can get stuck in this corner right here and aim at this stain and then give it a simple jump throw. That's probably the lineup that most of you guys are going to want to know, and as you can see here, it's just going to bounce perfectly and cover off Xbox. Like I said, it will also let you walk down mid. Just be careful of lower because the CTs can get down there on the timing. For more experienced players, you might want to throw it off of spawn a little bit faster, and if you want to do that, all you have to do is out of spawn, you're going to get stuck on this wall and you're going to look for this bottom left part of the window, and when you find that, you're just going to jump throw. This lineup is extremely loose, and so you could pretty much throw it as fast as you want, but as long as you aim in that rough area, you will get these Xbox smoke off of spawn. Now there is actually Xbox smokes that you can throw from your spawns, but I'll cover that in a future video. We'll save that one for now. Now, speaking of important smokes that allow the tees to take map control, let's talk about the long corner smoke. For those of you guys who don't know what this one is, it's a smoke that lands on the corner right here of long, and it allows the tees to come out of long doors without getting opt. Now let me show you how to throw this one, as well as the flashes that you'll need to know to take long, just because I really want to help out. So of course, as we're heading towards long, you're going to get stuck on this corner. You're going to aim above the door to the height of this white trim. Now you can use that fancy new grenade crosshair to make sure that you've got it lined up properly, and once you do, you can jump throw and you'll see the smoke will fly over longhouse and it will smoke off corner, just like I said. And after you throw that smoke for your teammates, you can tell them to drop your flashes here, so that way you can throw these bangers for them, so that way they can get out long for pretty much free. Now we're going to talk about just straight up EXEC smokes, because to be honest, that's really all that this map comes down to. So let me show you a door smoke and a window smoke, and it's pretty straightforward. So if you guys played CSGO, you might remember the door smoke is as simple as lining up right here on this lock on this box and tunnels, and then putting your crosshair in this gap like so. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you do it, it's a simple left click throw, and the smoke of course will fly through the air and land a smoke off door. Now I'm sure there will be better lineups found in the coming days now that the map is in the map pool, and since there's no more skyboxes, I'm sure we'll come up with a better lineup, but for now, this is the one that I would recommend. Now, the window smoke is actually going to be new to CS2, because in CSGO, you could smoke window, but it was a little bit difficult and it missed half the time. But in this game, you can simply come into this corner outside of T-spawn and look for this top dot like so. And then whenever you're ready, give it a jump throw, and that smoke will fly through the air, and it will use the new CS2 smoke mechanic to perfectly smoke off window. Of course, it will spread down and it will cover the window, but it actually does one better, because previously, if you were ever to hit the window smoke in CSGO, what they would do is they would boost somebody here. That way they could still see over tunnels, but of course, this smoke will cover that off as well. So make sure you use this one. I also feel like it's important to mention that you can also throw flashes over this now. So if you're back here throwing the window smoke or whatever smokes that we end up throwing in the future, you can pair any of these smokes with flashes over tunnels, and of course that will blind the B players, and so you could still be useful while throwing smokes from spawn. Now I want to show you a smoke that you will need, and most of us probably don't remember, which is actually the Lurk Smoke that ends at the tip of the tunnels here. Now, the reason this Lurk Smoke was thrown in CSGO, of course, was so that the lurker or a solo player in tunnels could walk out here and use this smoke to potentially one-way and kill the site player. Of course, one-ways don't exist anymore in CS2, but this smoke is still just as useful, and so I'm going to show you a lineup that I like to use, and that is this one right here. So make sure you don't get spotted by this left side here, and as we're coming to line up this smoke, you're going to get stuck in this corner here. and then you're going to aim like shown, give it a left click throw, and after that you're going to have a lurk smoke that gives you a little more of a way to lurk out. Now of course with this smoke you can come out on this left side here and use it as you need to creep out into the site. This could be extremely strong if you wanted to do a pop, and also if you bring your teammates with you to flash after you make contact, it could make a very devastating play. So I would recommend trying that one out as well. But if coming through tunnels doesn't seem that appealing to go to the B site, don't worry, because I agree with you. And so would every other team in the world, because the other thing that you can do is go mid to B. Now, of course, going mid to B means you're going to smoke off CT. So let me show you how to do that. If we were to get stuck in this corner right here in mid by the Xbox, and you aim at this dot like shown, give it a left click throw, the smoke will actually bounce and it will land in CT. Now, if you might remember back in the day, this smoke was really good, but what they could do is the CTs could see over this smoke and stop you from going through the door. In CSGO though, our solution was to throw a smoke that landed on top of this box that would make it possible, and in CS2 it looks like that still works, but I'm sure that eventually there will be a solution found. And for those of you guys that want to go the extra mile and you want to learn that smoke, whenever mid to B is thrown, you come out here, get stuck in this corner, and put your crosshair in the middle of this part here, left click, and that will give you that smoke if you want to go the extra mile. You probably don't need it though, but yeah, that will let you go up towards the door. Probably a must know, but I'm assuming in the future we'll find a solution. But yeah, there you go, mid to B smoke. And now that I've shown you the smokes that you need to take long and cat control, let me show you how to execute the site. So there's a couple of ways you could do this. You could do it via a cat exec, or you could do it via a long exec, depending on where the majority of your teammates are. So let's start with the long one, because I feel like this might be the most popular smoke set in the world. Now remember, the cross smoke in CS2, you needed 2 smokes, and a lot of the times these would get missed, and basically you would have 1 smoke land on this side and 1 smoke land on this side. But in CS2, the smokes are actually big enough that you can throw 1 cross smoke that will cover this entire gap, and I do have a lineup for you. So all you're going to do is you're going to get stuck in front of this barrel. You're going to look for the bottom left of this garage door here, and you're going to simply take 1 running step, jump throw. Sounds a little confusing because it is, but you're going to hold W and jump throw after you take 1 step. What'll happen is the smoke will bounce off of that tooth and it will land to cover off the cross pretty much perfectly. Now, when you throw 1 smoke, one part will always be a little bit shorter than the other, but as long as you cross close to the smoke, you shouldn't have any issues. Now, you might still want to throw 2 smokes, and I'm sure pros probably still will, but for your pugs, if you want to help your teammates, you could just throw this simple 1 smoke and it should be good enough. For those of you guys that are curious, I've already kind of worked on a more consistent lineup, and let me show you what I found so far. If you line up on the tip of this blue corner like so, and put your crosshair about right here above the top left of this stain, and then left click, no jump throw, you will get a very similar smoke. Now again, I'm still working on this because I feel like there's probably a better and more consistent lineup in the future to be found, but if you don't want to do the running jump throw one, this one is by far a more consistent lineup. And that will bring us to my favorite part of the map, which is cat. I think it has the most depth and versatility in terms of execs and smokes that you could throw. So let me show you the best way to exec cat in this game. So of course, the first smoke we need to know is the lurk smoke for cat, and it's super easy. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna line up in the center of this gate like so. You're gonna turn around and look for this dot, aim up to the height of this stain, and then left click throw. For those of you guys that played CSGO, you might think that this is not the correct lineup, but if you throw the old lineup that you did in CSGO, it lands a little bit, well, bad, and you can't really come up cat anymore. So this one of course lets you use the full area of the smoke, as well as it spreads down a little bit. That could give you a little cheeky option. Maybe pros will figure it out more. Now following that up, most of the time you'll pair this with a CT smoke anyway, so that part doesn't even matter. And of course the CT smoke is thrown by standing in the garage door like this, and then looking for where this top of the blue meets the roof right here, and then a simple left click throw. Now again, when paired with the original smoke that I just showed you, what will happen is you will get, of course, the ability to drop into spawn, and of course that looks a little something like this, and the idea being you can scale up and kill the guy playing ramp and the person playing long. Very useful. Finally, there's one more smoke that I think people will want to know, and that is of course the big smoke. That's the smoke that used to land right here on this box, and the idea of course being that you could use it to one-way the person playing long. But as you can see in CS2, this smoke is not as good as it was, and actually it's almost useless. So I made a new smoke, and that smoke is very similar to the one that we just talked about, but you're going to stand in the same spot that you would in CSGO, and instead you're going to look for this part of the wire where it meets the blue part. I guess it's like a little triangle. Now it's a little bit difficult. I've zoomed in super hard so you can see, but basically whenever you're ready, you're gonna left click though. Now this smoke combined with the Lurk Smoke that we've already talked about will of course give you the new and improved big smoke. We can call it the Austin smoke even. And of course this smoke will do the same thing as what we talked about before, and it allows you to scale all the way out to elbow, so that way you can fight the sight. And of course if you're a CT and you see this smoke, you're going to be very worried, and you should be, because it's a very strong smoke. And that's pretty much going to do it as far as the essential Dust 2 smokes goes. And yes, I know I didn't cover CT side in this video, but there isn't that many crazy things on CT side. Everything on Dust 2 is pretty straightforward. You don't need to know anything insane for CT side. But of course, as the meta evolves and changes, I will be keeping you guys up to date on this channel. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and leave a like as well. Share to your friends so that way you guys can farm Dust 2 games. Appreciate you guys for watching all the way if you did. And if you did, well, actually, why don't you check out this video that YouTube thinks that you'll want to watch? That seems like a good idea to me.